Okay, so we've got one more script to write thanks to you doing the nice bonus step. And what we're going to add is an alternative to our mystery chest. So the mystery box is great for getting you a random weapon, but in some instances, you might also want to have the option to buy one specifically. So we're going to create what I like to call the wall weapon, which is going to be a space for you to not only buy a specific weapon, but if you actually get a weapon that you've already bought, it's going to instead replenish your ammo rather than just be a dead weapon for you. So we're going to go back to our created scripts folder as we have been. And we're going to right click, create C# script, and we're going to name this one wall weapon. And let's go ahead and open that one up. And what we can do is delete all of this stuff right off the bat. And then we're going to say public weapon controller dot weapon type, and public integer cost equals 200. We want to give it a higher value than our mystery chest because, you know, the player is getting the luxury of picking the weapon, and we want to make that a little bit more expensive than getting one at random. Now you can adjust these values in the inspector depending on the weapon. Like, you might not want the pistol to be worth 200, but maybe you want the grenade launcher to be worth 200, or even something like 400 if you have the money. So you can adjust that stuff in the inspector, but we want to set it to 200 in our code here. And then we're going to say public void on use, open and close parentheses, and our open and close brackets. And we're going to say if player inventory dot instance dot current gold is greater than or equal to cost, then we want to say player inventory dot instance dot add gold is negative cost, and then find object of type weapon controller, open and close parentheses, unlock weapon type. There we go. And now that we did that, we'll be able to unlock a weapon specifically when this script is used. What we can do now is create the object that's going to represent our wall weapon. So you may have noticed we still have these weapon prefabs that we haven't changed at all. All they have is that laser controller script, but we can ignore that for now. What we can do is just drag our shotgun, for example, out and put it on a wall somewhere. I'll put it up here. Let's do that. We'll put the weapon controller up here. We want to rotate it with that E rotation gizmo there and kind of mount it so it looks like it's mounted on the wall. Now what we want to do is add our wall weapon script. We want to set our weapon type to match the weapon model we're using in the game here. So we have the shotgun. We want to set that to shotgun. I'm going to set the cost for the shotgun down to 100. And then what we need to do is add our interactable component. Because this is an interactable script. And we're going to press the plus button and add our wall weapon script to that, and go to wall weapon on use. And finally, we need to add a box collider for us to act as a trigger so that we can adjust that. We want to make sure that when we do this, we also set our layer here to trigger. We can say no this object only, just so that we can avoid our shots bouncing off of the big invisible trigger here. I'm going to set the size here to 3 by 3 by 3, and I'm going to move it in the Z direction a little bit off. Now, your center may change depending on where you've placed it. For example, if you placed it on a far right wall, and you set your Z center to a positive 84, it's going to move, as you can see, it's going to move that box into the wall here. So wherever you mount it, just play with these values until you see that green box move out into world space, and make sure that it's somewhere, of course, where your player can actually touch it. So like somewhere like here, with this Z value, the player will for sure be able to access it. And we also want to make sure we don't forget to set the box collider value of isTrigger to true, because without that, we are not going to be able to actually use the interactable here. We're actually just going to collide with this big box, which would feel clunky and weird, and we don't want to do that. So now that we've got all that set up, let's go ahead and hit play and test it out. As you can see, I've got my 100 points in the top left, so I'm going to go up here and try to buy it. And if I press E, my points go away, and now I can press 3 and I have my shotgun. And of course, you don't have to use the shotgun for this. You can do it with every single weapon if you want, the machine gun, the pistol. All you have to make sure you do is change the weapon type to match the weapon that you've created. And with that, you've completed the project. Congratulations, you've got all the bonus steps. You've 100% of this project. I hope you had fun. I hope you had a great time, and I hope I see you next month.